Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. 10 things you shouldn't settle for in a relationship. Don't settle. This will be from an author named Bruce Y. Lee from Psychology Today. And this is pertinent to my channel, Love Beyond the Sea, which is primarily about finding a Filipina to marry, like I did back in 2015. Because whenever you're looking seriously to marry, you have some decisions to make about must-haves and maybe some things that you'd like to have but aren't so important. But you don't want to price yourself out of the market, so to speak, and be left holding the bag. So this will be appropriate today. I hope you would subscribe here and leave comments. I've got 1,550 videos. I've got hundreds more planned. This is very serious for me to try to help men know about being married to a Filipina, not just where to meet them. It's easy to meet them. It's easy to marry them, but getting along and staying together is the part a lot of people do not want to get involved with, but I do talk about that here on my channel. And check out my affiliate link and leave a comment. Now, let's start here with just some key points from this article. You're being too picky if you rule out people as partners simply due to superficial, surmountable things. And this article is, of course, Love Beyond the Sea approved. No partner or situation will be perfect. You'll have to settle for some differences from your absolute ideal. I hope that is not a shock to you. And some things, however, are non-negotiable and they're fundamental to a lasting relationship. They start out by saying having to settle doesn't sound very romantic, though, does it? After all, the Beatles did not sing, "All you need is to settle." Whitney Houston did not belt out, "I will always settle for you." And your partner may not take it too well if you say, "Honey, congratulations, I've decided to settle for you." But you may find yourself struggling with the whole unsettling idea of having to settle in love if you are choosing among potential partners you are not sure about. In this case, settle means that you are in some way accepting less than what you really want or feel that you deserve in a romantic partner. Number one, and I'll interject my thoughts here, is someone who doesn't respect you. So you do not want to settle here. Someone who doesn't respect you. Don't accept a situation in which the other person does not respect you, your opinions, or your efforts. If you want to be disrespected, there are plenty of people outside of a romantic relationship who can do that to you. I would just add here that with a very long distance relationship, like thousands of miles, that can involve mostly video webcamming as far as being together, it can be really difficult to know about the respect aspect of it, maybe until you've been married, unless you can go there and be in person for a while. That's just something that's going to be harder to grasp from webcamming. Two, someone whom you don't respect. Similarly, if you don't respect your partner, be respectful enough to end the relationship and free the person to find someone else. I will add to that, don't just keep them around if there's somebody to brag to your friends about, if they're the prettiest woman that's talked to you in decades, because then that would be a selfish reason, and the other person has a life too. And I frankly think, and I've said this many times, if you're not interested, move on, but don't drag somebody along. If you do that, you're more likely to find the right person anyway, and more likely to let them go and find the right person for them as well. Number three, don't settle here. Someone whose personality is fundamentally incompatible with yours. Think about the mosts regarding both of your personalities and whether they are fundamentally incompatible. What is most important to each of you about both of your personalities? What is most difficult? What is most quirky? On the flip side, if you have an unusual personality and found someone who actually matches your personality and appreciates it, then you may have found a needle in a haystack keeper. And I will just add here, you don't want to be looking for a needle in a haystack, in my opinion. 4, don't settle for someone who really doesn't understand you. Now again, with a Westerner and a woman from Philippines or some other country, I just think here you only know superficially about this idea of do they understand you. And let me know, give me a comment about any of these things that might resonate with you. Been married over 8 years. I'm sure my wife didn't understand me when we got married. I'm sure I didn't understand my wife when we got married in less than 8 weeks. But you know what? If we had dragged it out another year or so, I'm not sure that would have made that much more difference. Eventually, you need to be together, live together, make hard decisions together, work through being unselfish and thinking about the other person, and have who you really are come out so they can understand you. I think it's just going to take more time with a very long distance international relationship. 5, don't settle for someone who doesn't make the effort. Now, you might think this is just common sense, but when the person you're talking to, is very attractive, and by the way, there's millions upon millions of attractive Filipinas who are single, but if they're not making the effort and you're just so smitten by their appearance or something, then but they're not making an effort, then you're only hurting yourself. If they're not making an effort because they're late to chats, or they just skip the chats, come up with some excuse later, then they're not making the effort. If they say they're going to give you so much time and they don't, well, then they're not making an effort. And you should be aware of your gut response to this. If you feel like they're just really not into you. Number 6, someone who is not fully available is also some area you would not settle on. And what they're talking about there is somebody that they might be already married, or they may be pining for someone else that they've had a relationship with that they're not over yet, so they're not emotionally available to you. Or maybe they're addicted to something like drugs and you don't even know who they are. Number 7, someone whom you do not trust. I will make sure that he or she won't cheat on me. It's not a good way to start a relationship. Having to be wary and on the lookout all the time is exhausting. Number 8, someone with whom you cannot fully and honestly communicate. This one, communication, to me, might be the biggest one with a Filipina, because language differences, a lot of times, the connection is not good, or they're just shy because they don't get to practice English a lot. And so they might be acting like you understand them or they understand you, nodding their head, yes, yes. And just really they want to say, I don't get it, I don't understand, but I don't want to ask you to repeat yourself again. And so you can end up thinking the communication is better than it is. And sometimes it's just going to be tough to understand each other, all because she might speak some English, but her vocabulary is not going to be as big as yours, and that can cause some issues there. So I think the communication you have to be good at together. Number 9, someone who can't be your go-to person and vice versa. That's, again, is going to take a while. When you're married, you should develop yourself to be the go-to person for each other. But initially, I just don't think there's enough closeness and time together for that to be realistic. That's the way it is for my wife and I now, but we've been married over 8 years. Last one, number 10, someone with whom you don't feel any strong connection. So why would you want to keep up a relationship when you really don't feel a strong connection to them? Keep looking for other people. There are many women out there that, other countries that would look for a foreigner to marry. And so don't give up trying to find love beyond the sea.